Hey y'all, today I'm going to go over a few reasons why I chose the Mahindra 1635 shuttle shift transmission over the John Deere 3038E and the Kubota L3901. So just to give you a little bit of background, what I was looking for was a 30-ish horse tractor, 35 horse, and I wanted a telescoping draft link, skid steer type bucket, a block heater, and loaded tires. I wanted loaded tires. I'm going to start with the John Deere. The John Deere was the highest priced tractor I looked at about $31,000, and that included a 2-lever universal skid steer adapter that would mate John Deere's proprietary front loader to, say, the bucket forks or the snow pusher and the bale spear I already owned. And so that immediately added like $1,100 or $1,200 to the cost. I wanted ag tires because I'm using it for agricultural purposes, and all three manufacturers use the same size tires, 11.224. But the John Deere had one-piece rear rims, so in order to get wheel spacing, I would have to add wheel spacers, which added considerable cost to the tractor. Additionally, the John Deere didn't have cruise control for the hydrostatic. It did not even come with a drawbar. That was like a $60 option you had to pay for. So no drawbar, no cruise control. So I pretty quickly crossed the John Deere off my list because it had the weakest hydraulic power of any of the three tractors I looked at. Didn't come with a standard drawbar. Didn't come with a skid steer, the 2-lever adapter front loader. And for a hydrostatic, there was no cruise control. The second place I went was a local Kubota dealership who had recently merged with a larger conglomerate, and they really weren't interested in selling tractors to small potatoes people like myself. They wanted to sell excavators and skid steer loaders and just, upscale equipment that I was not even interested in purchasing. So I was quickly soured on that dealership. And when you go in and you talk to somebody for the first time, you're either going to like them or not like them. And I knew that the dealership I was going to be buying from, I would need to have some sort of working relationship with them. And I knew that I was not going to like going to this place and giving them my money. So they were scratched off my list. Third dealership I engaged with was another Kubota dealership, and they were 3 hours away. I was going to be responsible to go up and get the tractor and haul it. For what is supposedly a standard featured Kubota, the features were pretty slim. There was no rubber floor mats. The loader valve was on the mast instead of on the fender. The seat didn't have armrests. There was no tilt wheel. It just was a very basic tractor, and the quality was there, I'm sure, but for the price of $29,000 and some change, it wasn't going to work for me. The third place I went to was the Mahindra dealership, which was 10 miles away. The salesman was a friend of the family, and I looked at the 1635, which was basically made by Mitsubishi in Japan, or Mahindra. It's the heaviest of the three tractors I looked at, to the tune of about 500 pounds just for the bare tractor. It also had way more features. It had telescoping draft links. It had extendable couplers on the end of the 3-point hitch, and it came with a better seat with armrests. The loader valve was on the fenders. Tilt wheel. The Mahindra loader frame goes from front to back of the tractor and is a much more solid mount. The John Deere and the Kubotas were both bolted pretty much to the engine block, and so they didn't seem as durable to me. The Mahindra had 2 gallons a minute more than the John Deere, and when you look at hydraulic capacity, the higher the number means the faster you can get things done and the more power you get out of the hydraulic system. And the Mahindra had John Deere and Kubota both beat by quite a lot. So the way John Deere and Kubota made their tractor motors Tier 4 compliant was to add emissions controls on top of their existing engines that they already had, whereas Mahindra spent $30 million to redesign the whole engine to make it Tier 4 compliant. So I don't have to worry about my tractor going into regen when I'm doing something. I don't have a diesel particulate filter to worry about. I don't need diesel exhaust fluid. I just get on my tractor and run it, and it's Tier 4 compliant. There's no, I'm in the middle of something and, oh wait, my tractor's going into regen. That's not a thing with Mahindra. And so that was like probably the #1 reason I chose Mahindra over the others. The other reasons were the tractor was just so much beefier and heavier. It had a better hydraulic system and more features than either one of those other tractors, the John Deere or the Kubota. And the final thing was probably one of the most important factors, was that the salesperson and the dealership for Mahindra just seemed more reasonable and more willing to go the extra mile to make sure that I got the tractor that I wanted and take care of what I needed as a farmer. So far, the experience that I've had with the Mahindra dealer for service has just been phenomenal, and I feel very comfortable with buying my Mahindra, and I know that I'll be taken care of. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you, and we'd really love it if you would take a moment and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.